Hi everyone, welcome back to the Poppy Library. My name is Liz and this is Knitcast. Welcome back to this little place on the internet. Again, my name is Liz and you are joining me here from Austin, Texas, where I call home. It is summertime. It is hot as hell. It was 102 degrees today, and I saw on my app it felt like 122 degrees. You would think, since I've lived here my whole life, that I would be used to it, but no. Summer makes me angry. I wish I could just run away. But here we are, and yes, I'm wearing a sweater, but it's only because I'm inside and the AC is cranked all the way up. Or down. Down. It's cranked all the way down. Yeah. It's been a while since we last chatted, and I've had a little bit of social anxiety trying to post a video, to be honest. I have a lot of things created. I just haven't posted them, but you don't need my excuses. I'm here now, right? That's what I thought. So let's just jump in. I reached 1,000 subscribers, which is crazy because I'm just little Liz here in Texas, but I'm so happy that you're here and that you are subscribed to my channel. That's so nice of you. Thank you. I love chatting about everything knitting. If anyone could lend me an ear, I probably could talk about knitting all the time. And so this is a place where I could just get to express myself. So since there are a lot of new people here, I wanted to talk about the name, the Poppy Library, and why it is and how it came to be and what it really means, because it's slightly confusing. I get it. First, I really like the name. I am a gardener here in Austin, Texas, along with my husband. He taught me how to garden, and we have a community plot here in Austin close to Lady Bird Lake. So it's called the Deep Eddy Community Gardens. We've had a plot there for quite some time. We might get rid of it just because we live a little further away from it than we used to. But I really love poppies, and my husband has created a space where the poppies grow wild every year. I'll show a little video of what that looks like, and it's just my favorite flower. So that's half of the reason of the name. And the second reason is I always felt like this was a library of my thoughts on the internet. I have ADD. I have a lot of interests that I do actually move forward with and I explore a little bit and dabble into. So I'm very into knitting. I'm into travel. I have a stained glass business, which has been slightly neglected, but it is coming up. As you can see, this is my new light table over here and my glass storage and my glass area. So this is really a place on the internet, which I will call my library, of thoughts, of journeys with different crafts, learning lessons, things that I can share with all of you. So that is why it's called the Poppy Library. I like poppies, a library of my thoughts. There you go. So let's get into the fun, juicy things. There will be plenty of Knitcasts to be had. I have plenty pre-recorded, so they will come out on a regular basis. Look at me. She's a new lady. Am I right? So let's start off with the fun thing that I like to see first on all my podcasts that I am subscribed to, or knitting podcasts, if you're not familiar with the knitting community just yet. And that is yarn. I love yarn. I have a vast collection of yarn. I love exploring with different fibers when I knit, so I am so interested to talk about that and listen to it when I watch other people's podcasts. So let's get into it. I have acquired a few things since we last spoke, actually quite a lot, and I will just go through it as the episodes go on. But I recently, I got promoted at my job, not recently, but a little late last year. And I am now a director of business development at a local event rental and tent company. And we have an office out in Dripping Springs, Texas, which is about 45 minutes outside of Austin in the country. And there is a wonderful little knit shop down the road from my office, which I have definitely had to practice a lot of self-restraint not to go to all the time. And they have a great selection of yarn, and it's called the Sated Sheep out in Dripping Springs. And I acquired 2 things from that yarn shop. The first is Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, and this is in the colorway Fuchsia. And I've never knitted with just pure silk like this before, so I really wanted to knit something that was a little more summery, that could go with my work wardrobe. And I love bold colors. I'm definitely have a lot of them in my wardrobe and a lot of neutrals to pair with it. So this will be a really great summer knit. I haven't decided what I want to do with it, but again, it is Knitting for Olive, Pure Olive in the colorway Fuchsia. And it's 100% barrette silk. So you can see it's very textured. I will let you know how that goes. It feels very light. I saw a sample when I was there and it's very drapey. So that'll be really good. And this one is the second one that I acquired, and it's Knitting for Olive, their Cotton Merino blend, which is 70% organic cotton, 30% merino. And in the colorway, I believe it's called Piglet. Or it says Greaseling, which I think is another word for piglet. It's 250 meters, 50 grams per ball. And I do have a project that I want to knit with this. It is a very beautiful neutral color, which will go with like jeans or a nice skirt. I have a very colorful skirt that I want to, knit something that'll pair with this. It's very light. It's very soft and luscious. I did snatch up as much as I could that was there. So I'm very excited to knit with this. Project will be coming up later in the episode of what I will be knitting with that. And I also, my other little yarn shop, Hill Country Weavers, I acquired another new set of yarns, which is the Felix line with La Bien Aimée. And this is in Floral Morganite. And then I also got one in Blue Royale, which these are definitely colors that I gravitate towards in just life in general. It reminds me of flowers. It reminds me of just Mexican art, everything. I am Mexican, if you couldn't tell. So things that I gravitate towards all the time. Colors, texture. This is really soft. It is a lace weight. There's a lot of yardage here. So I would definitely hold double with anything that I'm knitting, except for one that I'm going to share, which I'm not knitting double, and it's a mistake, but I'll talk about that later. This is 710 yards, and it's 75% Falkland Merino and 25% Corriedale. So it is very soft and luscious. You can feel it when you knit, like it's just buttery, and it is very luxurious. It's very luxurious. I love it a lot. I love knitting with it, and I am still deciding on what exactly, if I want to just knit a sweater all in this color, or if I want to do some color work. I think it would work nice for either. It is again luxurious. It's like hugs. It's like hugs, just woolly hugs. Also from Hill Country Weavers here in Austin, I got another La Bien Aimée yarn, which is the Mondim. I think that's how you say it, but you will recognize the label. Mondim. And this is the Sansa colorway. And this is a 100% Portuguese wool, 385 meters, so 421 or 27 yards. I think it's 21 yards. It is very woolly, but I did notice that when as I was knitting with it, it did start to get a little softer as, you work the wool with your hands. And then when I blocked it for a project that I will share after this, it ended up being very soft. So it was wonderful to knit with, and I love the color. I didn't know if I was going to like it because it was a neutral, but neutrals are great to pair with your big bold colors. So I knew I needed one for any kind of large color work or something to pair it with the big bold colors. And this was great. I believe it is a fingering weight yarn. Almost a sport weight. No, it's fingering weight now that I look at it. It is fingering weight. So it was, again, an absolute joy to work with. It does get softer as you knit with it. And then I didn't make something for me, but I assumed it was very soft. I can't really ask the person I gave it to. Anyway, I'm divulging too much. I'll get to that later. One of my other last acquisitions, pulling at my notes here, is I finally got my hands on some Les Garçons. And it is, look at their cute little logo. I kill for a really good logo, and that's a really good logo. Look at that. Little cute guy. It just speaks to their personalities so well. If you don't know Les Garçons, they do have a podcast, as us knitters call it. It is not a podcast. I mean, yeah, it's a podcast. Don't get me into it. There's a long history of why knitters call it podcasts. You can find it on YouTube. I don't need to explain it. But they do videos every now and then. They talk about their yarns, and I just love them and their personalities. They're so fun. And so I was able to get some of their yarn. So this is the British DK, and I'm going to say Lewis, because I don't know, it looks like Lewis, but it might be Louis shade. 75% blue face Leicester wool and 25% Masham wool. It's non-superwash, and again, it is DK, so it's about 100 grams per skein. So I usually don't knit with DK because of where I live, our environment. Again, it's hot as hell here right now, and it's quite early for that, but usually, I mean, we have been getting very cold winters, so this would be really nice on the days where we have, you know, an unprecedented freeze and all the trees fall down and everything's a hazard. But it'll be nice to, you know, wear something like this when it's that cold or when our electricity goes out. Don't get me started. It's been quite the year already. So again, it'll be really good on those cold days of travel. I bought a sweater's quantity of this, so I think maybe something with some good color work, maybe one of their patterns. Max's patterns are great. They have really good, he makes really good just sweaters with color work in them, so I think this would look really nice. Ooh, maybe with this held up. I don't know. That looks good. We'll see. We'll see what comes up with those. Not on my current future project list. I'm trying to do everything one at a time. So eventually it will come to me what I should knit with that with, and with my new setup here in this office, which I will show you in a minute, I think it'll come to me. So just looking at my notes, pause. So let's talk about finished projects. I'm standing now. This is the Lento sweater by Jana Heitala. I think that's how you say the last name. And I learned a lot with this new sweater. I learned how to do a double collar or a folded collar. So I knit double this right here, this collar, and then you essentially fold it in half and you knit it together. So it's this beautiful, like very thick, sturdy collar. And I really like that. I want to do that with a lot more sweaters. I love how sturdy it feels. And it is a very relaxed raglan sweater. So there's increases here, here, and on the back. So it's essentially like a rectangle. And I loved how the increases worked with this sweater. It's raised in the back. So it sits really nicely. It's like I gotta walk all the way over here. But it's very relaxed. I am wearing over a black dress right now. So you do see a little black undertones. But I used some wonderful yarn with this. Let me sit my booty down. I used a really great yarn with this, and this is yarn that I got when I went to Woolen Folk last year, which was my first knitting. We could go on and on. It was my first knitting show. No, what do you call it? Festival? My first knitting festival was Woolen Folk, and then I went to New York Sheep and Wool. I had never been to New York except the airport. or New York State, like outside of New York City. And it was so wonderful to be around so many different knitters, and I felt like I belonged, and it was just this beautiful moment for me. And I was so happy to be there, and I bought all this yarn at Wool and Folk, and I came back with a very heavy suitcase. One of my favorite booths that were there was the Earl Grey Fiber Company, and they don't sell online a lot, or I haven't seen an update yet. I follow them on Instagram. I'm hoping that they maybe do Wool and Folk again. I loved all of their yarn. I bought a lot of yarn from them. They have beautiful colorways. This one is, this is what their logo looks like, which again, I kill for a good logo design. How cute is that? It's got a little teacup with a yarn ball in it. Earl Grey fibers, y'all. It makes sense. It makes sense. So this is the Camellia Fingering line of yarn that they have. It's 100% organic merino, 100 grams for 100 grams, and the colorway is Poppy. Duh, I had to do it. It's delightful. It's very squishy. It knit very well. It was really fun to knit with. I held it double. I haven't woven in the ends yet, but I held it double. So you can kind of see how thick. It is just really fun. It's a fun, bright colorway. I could see me wearing this with skirts. I have black and white skirts. I have like, it goes with neutrals. It's very beautiful. And yes, I am wearing it right now while it's 102 degrees outside, but you know what? That's why we have AC, people. So yeah, it was great. I loved it. It was a very delightful pattern. I would recommend knitting it again one day. I feel like this is a staple that could be in my wardrobe. I do want to add some embroidery is not the right word, but I do want to add some sort of little stitch design right here. I did kind of like 4 knit stitches right on the inside, maybe a little poppy I could knit right there, or maybe my name over here. It feels like it needs a little something else. So I'll look into that and see where that takes me. Let's see, what else do I have? The other finished object that I have wasn't for me. It was for my niece, my little baby niece, whose family went to Copenhagen on vacation. It was very cold there, so I decided I wanted to knit her a sweater. It was also supposed to be her Christmas gift, and Christmas is busy season for where I work, and so that didn't work out, and also Christmas or holidays in general. So things got a little behind, but I was able to knit her a sweater. I actually messed up on this sweater. I knit her the olive sweater by Pernille Larsen in the 9-month size, and I knit it with this yarn that I had showed you earlier from La Bien-Aimée, the Mondim. Oh God, I really hope I'm saying that right. I should really look that up. La Bien-Aimée. And it came out so good. I messed up the first time. I didn't increase I didn't do a pattern repeat that I should have, and so I took it out, which was no big deal because you want to knit it right, and it's a baby sweater, so it wasn't going to take long. And so I knit it again, and it came out really good, and I blocked it, and just the pattern on it, it was like a leaf pattern. It was so beautiful, and she wore it, and she looked cute, and I bet she was really warm and cute in Copenhagen, and I really hope she got some compliments. She can't tell me about them because she's like 9 months, but she looked real cute. I'm gonna watch this later and be like, why am I being so much? This is the way I normally am. Okay, so those were my finished objects. I do have another finished object, which was my ranunculus sweater from back in the fall, and I'm gonna do a whole other episode on ranunculus sweaters and different yarns because I love that pattern. I think it is so flattering on everyone. It's such a really interesting knit that teaches you so many different techniques, and I was able to knit my last sweater with 2 strands of mohair together, and it is my favorite sweater. It went with everything. I felt so comfortable in it. I felt confident in it, and I just want to knit something, another ranunculus and something else, a brighter color. And so that's coming up in another episode soon. So you will see that, and I will talk about that then. Now we'll switch to works in progress, or what I would like to call what I'm growing at the moment. A craft that I'm growing at the moment. And this is camisole number 5 by My Favorite Things. And this is how far I am on it. And no, this is not how little it is. There's going to be added things on the side and around the collar. And I did swatch for this, and it will block out. Oh my God, this is kind of where I'm at. It did block out to meet gauge, which is great. I will say, I think I'm going to rip this out because I knit it with one strand of like a lace weight yarn, which was the Libyanime yarn that I showed you, the Felix. And I thought I was just so smart and I was going to do it and that would be great. But unfortunately, it's very see-through and I am not that confident to just be wearing that to work. Also, I'd probably get sent home. I would probably send myself home. I'm the director. So I would send myself home. Anyway, I am going to rip this out, and I think I'm going to do 2 strands, and this is just going to be a winter top and not a summer top. It'll actually be a fall top because since I live in Austin, it is kind of warm here, and when winter comes along, when fall comes along, I'm just cold all the time. Spring, it's fine. Everything feels warm again and hot. Anyway, I digress. This is going to get ripped out and redone, which is fine. I also messed up around the strap area. I can see a mistake. Probably not noticeable to anybody else, but it's noticeable to me. So I'm going to rip it out and redo it. And that's what it is. That's all it is. I'm just going to get over it. I'm just going to do it. Sometimes you just got to do it. Ripping out your stuff is totally fine. It's acceptable. It teaches you lessons of letting go. Sometimes you just got to let it go. Let it go and start over, and it's going to be fine. Now you know things, right? Now you know. So, I did want to also share a pattern that is going to be a work in progress after I fix that mess, because I'm a very much like a one thing at a time knitter. I can't just be doing a whole bunch of stuff, then I feel like progress isn't being made, and then I get frustrated, and then I give up. I definitely want to finish something. Knitting is the thing that taught me how to just finish something. I have lots of projects that just kind of go awry, and I start and I stop. Knitting is the thing that I finish, and so I love it. That's why I love it. It makes me feel good. So the next knit that I have is going to be, where is it? Oh my God. I was prepared. I guess I wasn't prepared. My next knit is going to be the mini mock knit tank by Jessie May Designs. I won't make it mini. I will extend it a little bit. I saw Jacqueline with Caddy Jack's Knits, and she made like, I don't know, what'd you make, Jackie? Like 7 of these. Nobody's mad at it. They all looked really good. So of course I want to knit one, and I'm gonna knit it in this color, which is the Knitting for Olive Piglet color, and that is the Cotton Merino blend. And I could see myself wearing it as a statement piece. I could even see myself knitting it with a neon, maybe one of the Felixes. I really want to try it. I looked at the pattern. It looks really interesting on how it's made. I feel like it's going to teach me a lot in terms of, you know, different knitting techniques and knitting certain aspects of certain panels of each of, sorry, what am I trying to say? It'll teach me how to knit like the front first, the back first. Like, it just looks interesting. It looks like some pattern that I haven't knit before. I usually knit in the round. I feel more comfortable, more confident there because it's what I'm used to. I feel like this is going to push me out of my comfort zone. So we're gonna knit that next. It's very exciting. I want to knit 7 just like Jackie. Did I call her Jacqueline? Like Jacqueline? I'm sorry. Anyway, so that is just an update of what I've been knitting, what I've been doing, kind of a life update. As you can see, I'm in my studio. I am a maker of stained glass. I make things out of stained glass, whether it's just like, you saw my sweater weather that I made. I do pet portraits. I do a lot of things. I am currently developing my skills in working with enamels, so I can paint more intricate portraits instead of basic shapes onto my pieces, which is really where I wanted to go with stained glass in the first place. So I'm really excited to explore that. I, again, am a director of business development, which makes me giggle when I say it sometimes because I always feel like I'm 12 years old still. But I'm a director of business development at a company here in Austin that rents out event rentals and tent rentals. So you might see a little bit of those creative things on my channel too, just because it's part of my life. It's my 9 to 5. It's what I do. It's spend most of my time with. So I've been spending a lot of time doing that. I'm excited now. Since it's hotter, not a lot of people are doing a lot of events here in Austin. Everybody's still doing things, but since it's so hot, it is a little bit of a slow season for us. So I was able to really focus on my stained glass business and really, make my beautiful light table that's right here, build up my stained glass station, and build out another station out in the garage where I will do a lot of my lead work because you can't do it inside, or I prefer not to do it inside. And that's what I'm doing with stained glass. So I am looking forward to doing some art that is related to knitting. I feel like knitting is sort of a religion to me. It is where I go to find solace and peace and happiness. And I relate to, or when I think of stained glass, I think of my Catholic upbringing, a Mexican Catholic upbringing, where stained glass is prevalent everywhere. It's in beautiful churches. While I no longer practice, I still feel kind of like the comparisons between the two, knitting and religion for me, of things I used to enjoy, why I like it. And I just would like to pay homage to knitting in a beautiful art form that is glass. I have done smaller things, but on a more intricate, detailed scale that I've always dreamed of doing. So I will be exploring that in the fall. I'm definitely allowing myself to just chill out and just let it come to me. Forcing things never really worked out for me, so I'm just embracing things as they come, right? And also, I redid my studio. So again, this is the knitting side, and this side over here that you can't see that's behind the camera is my, did I say this? My stained glass side. Stained glass side, knitting side. So I redid my whole studio. I have this beautiful desk here where I can do all of my knit work. I displayed and organized all of my needles, all of my knitting tools are down here in drawers, and I'm working on fully displaying all of my yarn. It is really great to see all of the yarn with, I have it fully lit so I can see all of the colors. It's great to see it there, and I can just kind of pick and choose all the things. So that took a while to do. I feel like it took months. It took like all spring just because how busy we were. I just look forward to just slowing down a little bit and getting to know all of you and talking about knitting more. I really love when people comment on the videos and they talk about different techniques and they give advice. Advice is always welcome. I was going to say no advice is no welcome. Again, slow down, Liz. All advice is welcome, and everyone reads the comments and they can see people. I can see people collaborating or asking questions and just adding their 2 cents, and I love it. So I will end it here, and I look forward to doing this more with you all and sitting and talking with you, making more kind of art videos behind the scenes like I used to do a lot. And I have all the footage. We just got to put it together. Sometimes you gotta take little breaks, and that is okay. So until next time, Thank you for joining Knit Chat. And again, this is Liz with Poppy Library, and I'm so happy you were here. And I'll see you next time. Bye.